Hello everyone, this is Bunnieplays and welcome to my channel. Before I go further into my insights on playing Diggie in the current meta, I must first admit that I am one of, if not the biggest support role fangirls in the history of Mobile Legends. I am currently a Mythical Glory player, and I strongly believe that supports in this season has had a lot more attention than before, so massive kudos to the devs for that. Believe it or not, while Angela has been one of the most versatile support heroes, and thus frequently banned, Diggie has always been one of the most underrated and overshadowed heroes in the game, with an amazing kit capable of epic comebacks. A common misbelief with picking supports in Ranked, according to a few Grandmaster/Epic friends, is that supports lack the damage for any sort of contribution to laning and team fights. You might have run into some players who would flame you for picking any support at first opportunity. But what they don't know is, supports are intended to save or help teammates, not kill or deal a huge chunk of damage. Of all the current available supports, Diggie easily has one of the strongest crowd control kits, as well as an anti-CC ultimate which is more than enough to disable enemy heroes' abilities, most notably Akai, Johnson, Halkerd, and well, any other heroes of the sort with group stuns and disables. Before you decide to go with a Diggie pick, however, remember that supports are always going to be team reliant to a certain extent. Depending on your team composition, Diggie can make or break the game. Like I said earlier, an early Diggie pick is good enough to dissuade your enemies into picking high CC heroes, which will give your team's carries a huge advantage. It also helps with catching out carry heroes on the backline or assassins if you catch them. I suggest using Hero Lock mode, which you will find in your settings, so you can target specific squishy heroes during the team fight without accidentally pulling their tank back. For you to be considering Diggie, you probably already know his skills very well, so let's keep it brief. First of all, his first skill slows enemies running away from you or coming towards you, and even stuns them after a few seconds, which makes it really easy gank for your teammates. His second skill roots the character's memory onto the spot, so when he leaves the circle within that time frame, he gets pulled back. Please note that this ability does not work on heroes with immunities such as Chow. His most dangerous skill is probably his ultimate, which is an anti-CC AoE that protects all of his allies and himself from any crowd control, including stuns and slows and snares. Before I forget, Diggie's passive actually serves as a very good ward for your teammates. You can either stop your enemies from going back to base while on low health, or to stop them from defending their base under attack, or you can also follow them so that your damage dealers can hunt them down and finish them off. With these abilities in mind, make sure you use them wisely and effectively to ensure your teammates' safety and, if possible, secure the kills for them. Diggie skills are very useful when it comes to jungle team fights where enemies can easily use group stuns or tower dives if you're aggressive enough and up for the challenge. There are a few things to look out for when playing Diggie. I have already covered them in my support guide, which you will find the link to in the description below. In order to fully utilize your support hero, you will need to stay very focused the entire game on your enemy's movements, as you will be responsible for your teammates' safety, letting them farm in peace. Let me just quickly go over these important bits again. One of the most important things in the game is your minimap, where you track your teammates and enemies' movements. As a support player, it is your responsibility to keep an eye out on this the entire game. As you will most likely be unable to push or deal much damage on your own early game, it is only beneficial that you watch out for spots where there will be potential team fights or teammates who might need your help. Diggie is different to Angela, as she has a global ult, and Rafaela, as she can speed up, so it makes it even more challenging having to weight your options. For example, if you see a team fight going on not far from you, unless your ally is obviously on the brink of death by a 5-man gank, it would only be right to use your ultimate and get them out of there, and maybe attack if possible. Rotation and roaming is a huge part of high-level gameplay in any MOBA, and this applies especially to mid laners and supports. Though not required as much as being a mid laner, a support should try to get to wherever a team fight happens. With Diggie, his abilities are capable of becoming an absolute game changer. You could free your allies from a heavy CZ composition and wait for your assassin and tank to counterattack. However, I strongly suggest you stay close to your biggest carry, in most cases your marksman, since they tend to be less capable of escapes if caught. Also, don't forget to leave the farm to your carries. You don't really have a need for them in comparisons. Last but not least, the timing on Diggie's abilities are absolutely crucial. Any early or empty ultimates will result in a very bad turnout, especially if you give your enemies an opportunity to jump your carries. Make sure you only use your ultimate when your carry has been disabled or will be unable to get out of a sticky situation. There are lots of ways to build Diggie depending on the situation. Diggie does not rely heavily on damage, so it would be logical to build defensive items on him. I usually take CD boots early on to maximize his ultimate's capability. The rest of the items are entirely up to you depending on your enemies. I use the support emblem with Focusing Mark, which allows your allies to deal extra damage to your target. The only spell I use for Diggie is Flicker, mainly for clutch saves and aggressive play. And that's the end of my short guide to playing Diggie and why you should pick him in ranked. He has so much teamfight potential and deserves way more recognition than he currently gets. If you have any questions or other ideas on how to build or play Diggie, leave a comment below. Enjoy dominating the field with your favorite support, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more future content!